Welcome to Masterclass for Directing. I'm James Velasquez. Today I'll be speaking to Goran Kapetanovic about directing styles and what it means to be a director.
Jag fick ett telefonsamtal igår från Pervin. Hon bor där nere i Raga. Hon ville ta kontakt med en svensk polis.
De har skickat en man till Sverige för att utföra ett terrorattentat.
Vem då?
De kallar honom för resenären. Alla svennar tror att alla muslimer är terrorister.
Du är jättemodig som vågar prata om de här sakerna.
Hey! Alla som bor i Sverige vet ju att vi lever i ett demokratiskt paradis. En lögn spridd av Guds fiende.
Du ska ändå dö. Vad ska jag göra för att ni ska lämna mig i fred?
Vad gör du?
Alla är ju skitsnygga. Om man åker ner dit får man gifta sig med en sån där, tror du? Fuck, jag är ens.
Jag är änka 2 gånger. Gud vad sorgligt. Men det är inte sorgligt. Det är min största lycka. Mina män, de är martyrer. Det finns inget större.
Du går inte utanför dörren med den där.
Bestämmer för fan inte du.
Jo, det gör jag. Lätt jävla skit i mitt hem! Så lätt!
Släpp mig!
Mischa!
Den som lever som ett svin ska också slaktas som ett svin. Sån här gör vi med Guds fiender.
Det var en drönare, det kan komma en till. Vi måste dra till skyddsrummet, ha?
Attacken är idag, Pervin.
Men då... Jag kommer dö.
Vänta! Vänta! De kommer spränga planet i London! Snälla, jag ber dig, lyssna på mig!
How do you break down a scene and decide the camera's motivation? And how do you use that to come to the core of the scene?
This is quite a good question and the right question for every director and cinematographer. It's and the question where you should put camera to see the scene. I think in a couple of occasions when I read the script, I try specifically to understand the essence of the scene. And if we do in the master shot, I will rather, even if we don't use it in the editing, I will do master shot to understand the movement of my actors in the room and space. So, as I said, this is something what I really put a lot of efforts on, to understand the feeling of movement and to find exactly angle what I could shoot the scene. So this is something what I'm doing often.
Yeah, because at the end of Kalifat, you choose to end on this powerful close-up of Sulle.
Yes.
Which is a lot more effective than actually showing the bomb exploding. How did you come to that choice?
I think it's conscious choice during the shooting, but I had the reference from the movies when I want the actors look at it into the camera. Yeah. And I think we done a couple of takes on Sulle looking at camera, and when they break this fourth wall, what we call in the. But we find something in between, and I thought that she could just turn to the audience and say, "What do you think about this?" So it's something what I've been knowing. I decided before we shot the scene. So this kind of stuff, I think I don't want to implicit to see all the details. I want to change the perspective. I think it was these days a lot of things. It's in the sound engineering to put the sound quality, details, effects. I think it's Mikael Haneke who worked the last film, and he put like 8 weeks of sound. Editing and doing and picture, it's something, but I think this is what I call the surprise moment, and what we can do, something not directly showing them.
Yeah, because it's the end of what is a very long journey for all these characters, and to end on just her, I mean, almost saying it, you know, the future, and this is what we have left to go forward.
It's really powerful, yeah. And that's kind of stuff you have to decide before, yeah.
Working with actors, how does a director get the best performance out of an actor?
Working with actors and preparing for the scene or for the film, it's for me crucial things how I choose actors also for the certain movie. I think preparation and just doing the psychological scanning, what I call, from the actors, and it's very important for me. I just spending a lot of times. I'm not talking about film. I'm talking about their lives and occupation, hobbies, love, everything. What can I hear some moments of her or him to use during the directing, but also I tell everything about me. So we find this some kind of symbiosis between director and actors to trust to each other. So that's very important for me, to trust to each other that we can do this journey together, and that I'm not more privileged than her or him, and that we are doing together. And that's knowledge that actor doing this together with me, with director and cinematographer, and that's the most important thing for me, that doing something for us, not for them. And that's the way how I work with actors from the beginning.
Yeah. You said a key word there, and that's trust, and that how important is trust between a director and an actor?
Definitely trust in the every moment, and that give me so much more freedom.
And how often do you do rehearsals leading up to the production, or do you do them on the day, or
on the basically because we don't have a time to do? We have some kind of readings. In Sweden, it's not usual to do the big readings of the old script. It's certain scenes. Often we just started on the set, and in this particular place or film, TV series, I've been rehearsing quite a lot, because me and my photographer decided to try to film in the one shot, if it's in every scene, but if it's necessary, we will make a cut. So we have always back door that we can make it cut, but always we spend 4 or 5 hours to make sceneries with actors, and instead that we are coming to them, they will come towards camera, and they will change the perspective from close up to the American or to the big picture. So that was interesting process. So sometimes we spend 4, 5, 6 hours just rehearsing and make a shot in 2 or 3 shots.
Most of your films are shot partially in different countries. Can you describe the difficulties of shooting out of the country?
When I mean country, you mean Sweden, Scandinavia, yeah. Definitely, it's also some kind of pre-knowledge you have to know about different culture issues and but it's the same. I mean, I never had problem with people, because you have, even if you're in the foreign country, you have to make, of course, play by their rules, but you can also involve in them in the film and the story wise to understand and appreciate that. So I spend a lot of time to make a good atmosphere, and I think it's key. So I see the many things around what I don't want to see, but it's my job as a director to also make the balance with my Swedish crew and their Swedish crew from Amman, or to make the good balance and to see what is a problem, because I'm not clear in my mind, and I'm not calm if I don't know if everything is around it's perfect. So, but it's different. It's sometimes difficult, but it's doable.
And the benefits of shooting out of the country.
My God, that's really the best thing what you can do, because just for this background on the set, it's sometimes you don't need to move to make nothing, just film. I think you can have a very rare situation when you can make this in studio, so or somewhere else, because you see the pattern of the cars or street or buildings, and you have to. I think this is it was good choice to film in Amman.
How important are the director of photography and the production designers to a director, and what is your working process with them?
This is the crucial. The first thing what I think when I start the project, who's going to shoot this? So it's and it's different way to go. It depends what kind of film I shoot and who is the best for this project. And of course, that's what we begin all talking about pictures, about style. We have to be. For example, I always like to make some kind of dogma to understand. They said, let's not make this big lightnings things. Just work with this. Try to do the one scene in one take, or we are not going to use Steadicam because it's too beautiful. Just something. Can we try to do something between? Something. So these kind of things you have to put on the paper. Also the color-wise and the style. And when you have photographer, when you in the connection is good, so you can do very lot of stuff. And same steps with set designer, very important, second most important, or for me sometimes everything, to find somebody who can work with vision and together with me, and photographer choose the way how we will do that. So the basically that's the problem now in Sweden, that it's you have to book them 1 year ahead, because there's a lot of things going on, especially with streaming sites and
And your working process with them from start, are the three of you sort of one entity that builds the project from the beginning?
Definitely, and that we direct and give the orders to the assistants, and even make presentation for the crew, that they feel how this project is going to be shot or what kind of feeling. So that's the things what we start with, and we're going together to the locations. So I always have photographer and set designer to go to location. We have to give green lights to the locations, and that's what we are doing for 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes. And that's the way how to go, because if you don't choose the perfect place in apartment, you can remove stuff or make painting or make camera position. This apartment or place is not usable for the scene. So it's always very important that we are looking for several locations which match perfectly for the scene.
And how important is your editor?
Editor, I've been lucky working with really good editors, understanding my view and my thoughts, and understanding specifically what kind of film we are doing. You have to match, because the same thing, and what she or I've been working with female editors for mostly, and what she gave me, because she's looking the dailies, and sometimes I also have connection that I asked the editor, do you think in this scene we need something more that we can probably reshoot or take some close-ups or pick up? But the most important is to find the tempo. And we sometimes listen to music before together, and I find a specific soundtrack that I like, and I said, this is a soundtrack of the movie, not to put in the movie, this is soundtrack of the tempo. So this kind of stuff, and definitely very emotional part, the most emotional, because that's what you create everything, and that's the fine part, but also very frustrated. But that's the reason that I never see the films after I edit it. So I never go to premiere, or I'm just behind. Okay. So that's something because you've been seeing so many times that you're tired of it. Yeah. So you have to stay stopped, because I want to see them after 2 years or 3. Yeah. Mm.
So your editor, you work with the editor from the beginning when you decide to make a project.
Yeah, I always choose the editor before we start the project and book them, because they are good.
Yeah, and you mentioned music. For me, when I see your work, it's much like a symphony.
Mm.
It's much the rhythm and the pace of the scenes are much like if you would see a conductor, conducting a symphony. And how important is music?
Thank you. Definitely. I have soundtrack for this. For example, for my TV series Karfat, I had exactly the soundtrack for I gave to my crew, that they've been listening different kind of stuff. I think that's something what I've been listening before and during the films. Sometimes I've been playing the music during the shoot to get the actors in the moment, in the situation, and after a while, so I in editing definitely I try to put this kind of music as a reference to the composer, and from that composer will make something what is similar or something totally different. But generally, that's the sound, that's the tempo, everything. Music, it's power.
You mentioned that you work with female editors, but oftentimes in your films, I've noticed that you have female leads, and your films tackle a lot of female struggles. What is it that draws you to those stories?
I think that's definitely that I found women more interesting than men in that kind of that I maybe didn't see in the movies so many years, the leading parts of the women. And I explore that in that sense, that I think they are definitely more interesting how they react in certain situations and how they emotional journey. But also my mother, it's a very strong woman, and I was always so up to her, and I think it's definitely more interesting and also necessary to see how perspective could be different, and I think I find very, very fascinated by that. Yeah.
Yes, considering how long it takes to get a production off the ground, sometimes many years, where do you find the power and the commitment and the creativity to keep pushing to get a specific project made? What drives you in that sense? Because it does take many years oftentimes.
Depends of certain situation, but I've been thinking always that what is important to why should I do this story or TV series or something? What is the key? What is the motor? And I always find that if I keep going and trying to do my best every day. Before I've been just thinking, oh, this month. I've been thinking, if I do something every day and I put efforts on the movie or TV series, I will reach my goal. So I'm instead to see the big picture, I've been concentrating day by day instead. And it took 2 years to make from I read the script to final results of Caliphate, it's definitely 2 years time, and pre-production, reading, shooting, after production, post-production, and everything. So, if you choose to mentally be prepared to do TV series in 8 episodes, it will take 2 years of your, in best way, 2 years of your life. So your commitment has to be really strong and powerful, and something extraordinary that you be able to finish it, because you can't start with the another project in the same. So that's my answer.
With that being said, do you think directors have an ethical and moral responsibility to the audience?
Definitely. The film is so powerful media. I think this difference between self-censorship. It's also good sometimes to see what is doable, what is not doable. But I think it's some kind of moral references should be taken very seriously, and we are somebody who gives the signals to the society and make the stories. So definitely, in these times today, with polarization of everything in the world, I think it's really important that we give the good signal and don't make something what is unmoral things.
Can that sometimes affect your choices during a shoot or during the process of making a film?
Definitely, that you dealing with, especially what is a sensitive topic like religions, fanatism, everything. You have to make the sense that you can't push it in one way, because they not give you the totally effect of the movie, because they will just make more polarization. So you have to make a balance of that, because life it's not black and white, it's always all kind of colors. So, but definitely you have to think about it, because you have a responsibility as a director.
I think also, like, I'm just thinking of specific. Can you give a specific example of where you know where the scene needs to go, you know what you want to say, and then suddenly you have the. Let me rephrase that. You want to sort of push a scene, but there's something inside of you that says, I need to go there. I need to go there to get this point across. Mm-hmm. But I can't. But then you make the choice. Do you understand what I mean? It's sort of like it can be a difficult spot, especially in the moment, in the heat of a 10-hour day, and you're up to here.
I know. That's. I think when you try to go towards a difficult scene to find something special, and when you read the lines together with actors a couple of times, and you're searching for something specific, and this is a tiny borderline when you can reach it and do something after retaking, and something happens, and suddenly it's many times you can reach something what is called an uncomfortable situation, and maybe sometimes unmoral things to give actors some instruction or situation what it's not appropriate in the moment, but sometimes you have to make this moral balance again and go back and try it again. So, but it's true that in many occasions you can cross the red line, but you have to find the fine symbiosis with actors and with yourself.
Yeah. Working with writers, oftentimes you write your own stories. Mm-hmm. When Caliphate was a script that was written by other writers, but how involved are you in that process, and when do you come into that process?
Yes, regarding the writers and the process with director, it's different by project. I mean, in this case, specifically Caliphate, They will be developing script in 5 years, and it was for 70-80% almost done, and it was quite good script. And after that, what I'm doing as director, I will find the places. When I find the locations, so we could change some efforts, some style in writing, some specifically some scenes what I didn't understand, I can ask. So it was quite interesting process working with them to be able to in pre-production give some our thoughts from directing parts and cinematographically, to give them some input that they could change and make it better. When dialogues about when you're talking about dialogues, I left to actors to do the same dialogue, almost the same like in scripts, but they adapted as they for her or his personality. So they can change a couple of words, and they will say differently depending if they're coming from a suburb of Stockholm or some other parts. But basically the context will be the same. But so that's the greatness of the script when you have somebody who's been working for 5 years. And so unfortunately that's not the practice in Sweden, because mostly the people are not finished with scripts and they're going to shoot, and they will have a problem. And that's one of the reasons, because this TV series Caliphate, it was good quality, and but because we had a script in time.
And that leads me to the question: how important are the words on the page? Do you use it as a blueprint, or do you tend to stick directly to what's on the page?
I'm basically, regarding the dialogues and script and dialogues, I want, because it's everything. It's like a puzzle. You can't just change the context of the same, because another scene will be different. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to keep the context of the scene, but I will give the freedom to actors to interpret. Interpretation of the scene will be on their own, but they will say the same context.
Some of your influences?
Oh, definitely Italians film, Fellini, Mastroianni. I liked very much Italians way of this at the beginning. Also the afterwards cinema, after Second World War cinema, made the Bicycle Thief and this kind of stuff. And Milos Forman, big fans of him. Of course, I like Americans' 70s film, all from Taxi Driver to this Scorsese's new way on this. I like Cassavetes quite a lot. So it's different kind of period. I'm influenced by the East European cinema quite a lot, Russian films. So it's the big spectra of the movies from all around the world. But I've been really watching a lot of stuff. So it's experience from everywhere, but as a little bit more from East Europe.
Yeah. I can feel a lot of Cassavetes in some of your work.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. How involved are you in the planning of a film? How?
Yeah, planning. I have, of course, people who make line producers and everything, how they put it. But planning the scenes, the order of the scenes, shooting during the day. Of course, I'm involved there very much. So basically, we are sitting in the room with all the assistants and all our A functions and the line producer and say this day we will shoot this, and in that case I will say I will start with this scene because I think if we don't finish this scene in time, we have time to do this, and it's together with cinematographer, definitely. So we are preparing every detail, order of shoot order.
What would you say the most difficult part of directing is? What is for you as a director? What do you find to be the most difficult or most challenging? Is a better word, I think. Most challenging part.
The challenging, I think it's to find this tempo and energy to make to start the first days. It's really difficult before you feel it. What is going on? What direction we will go? So I think it's always difficult to start with scenes first days, to find the tempo, feeling, everything, and you're doubting all the time. As a director, you're doubting all the time: is this good? Is not good? But I found very, very difficult the first 2 days to feel is this in the right level, and if it's so after that it's much more relaxing. But that is and time, of course, working against time. That's crazy. That's totally. You have to finish the scene because if somebody, it's first assistant director, it's behind you, say we have 5 minutes, you have to finish scene because it's cost. So that's challenging.
One piece of advice to aspiring directors, what would you give?
Just in situation when you don't know how to do it, for example, scene, when you admit for yourself and say, or to your actors, if you admit, I don't know how to do it, that's the best way to do. I think it's quite boring to hear somebody who's coming to set and say, I know everything. That director shouldn't work with, because they are not, it's not true. But you're polite, and when you said, do you know what, I don't know how we'll do this, how we will shoot this today, but let us try it. So that's to be honest and to tell the truth. Don't go in yourself and try to pretend to be we have all answers. It's not productive.
And the last question I have is there a dream project for you? Do you have something that this film I have to make before I stop directing, if you ever stop directing?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely some science fiction, something in space, something like Solaris film, but I've been thinking of some kind of, I like quite a lot Interstellar, something like that. Not something crazy. Maybe some comedy in space. I don't know.
Yeah, do you have any aspirations to do comedy?
I will try. I will. That's the point, because you know the things how you do the good comedy, that you're directing. That's a drama, and it's situations. You can't say we will make funny moments. You have to make serious moments that became funny afterwards. So I could try it. I will see.